today you might like to spend the day with me in my sewing room and see what I get up to. So today I'm going to work on the dress that I'm making using the Lutterloh system. It's my first time using the system. So far I found it much easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be super scary, and so far so good. So over the weekend I did the measurements and ruled out the pattern. I'll put some footage in of me doing that. So you can see I used all my body measurements and put little dots and then joined them up with lines to create the pattern. Then I added a seam allowance, and then finally I did a full bust adjustment. I'll put the link to the video that I used in the description below. After completing the pattern pieces and getting them all set up and ready, it was time to start working on my dress. So the fabric that I chose was slightly see-through, and I don't want to have to wear a slip with this dress, so I decided to add a lining. There's not a lining in the Lutterloh pattern, so I'll put a picture in and you can see that it has a facing, and I decided that the lining would be my test fit or toile. I made that up over the weekend. It's finished. This is it. So I've overlocked the edges of the center seam so it fits. It was a bit gapey at the neck, and I decided that it was because of the angle of the shoulder. So I just stitched at a slightly different angle at the top there. So you can see it's got an extra line of stitching across there. And that seemed to have fixed the problem. But yeah, so I've already overlocked all of the seams. I've already hemmed the lining, and I've also top stitched down the center of the join on the front, so that's where the V is. I added the V-neck. I want to join the lining and the outer layer together at the neckline and then press those seams properly so it's all nice, and then do this top stitching. I was really surprised that this pattern fit so well, basically straight out of the box. Normally I have to do quite a few adjustments, like grading between sizes and stuff, and I didn't have to do that with the Lutterloh pattern, which was pretty good, I guess, because I used my body measurements. I mean I had to do the full bust adjustment, but I always have to do one of those. The only thing I have left to do is to pick some thread to go with this fabric. Some different little colours in there, but the main colour is blue. One second. So I have some blues. These two are out. So I guess it's between this really shiny one and this one, which I think I prefer to use. It's less shiny. So those are the two options. I think I'm going to go with the Orifil. So I got my thread. I think that goes really nicely with that. I think you won't really see the stitching, which I don't really want it to be a feature. I'm back. It's been about 2.5 hours, and I've sewn up the outside of the dress, and yeah, when I sew I get hot, so I often end up tying my hair up in weird and wonderful ways. So I just top stitch down the middle, and you can see that there. And I'm really pleased with how the slits went in. So really nicely done. So I'm gonna stop and have lunch, and then I'm going to come back and put the lining together and finish it off. Hi, so I've just come back from lunch, and my plan is to put the lining together with the outer for the dress. I've pinned the neckline together, and then I'm going to stitch that, turn it, press it, top stitch it, and then I'll work out what I'm going to do with the armholes. Hi, well, it's been about 4 hours since I last turned on the camera to touch base with you, but I have finished my dress. So I'll put a photo up on screen so you can see how the dress looks. I'm pretty pleased with the process of putting the Lutterloh pattern together. It doesn't come with any instructions on how to put the garment together once you've created the pattern. Luckily, I understand how dresses are constructed, so that wasn't too hard. The only thing I should have done was stay stitched the neckline because it must have stretched out, so I've had to put a little pleat detail on the sides to pull the neckline in, but I don't think it matters, plus my hair covers it most of the time. Other than that, with the fit, should have done a sway back adjustment. There's a little bit too much fabric there. And other than that, it's a little bit shapeless around the waist. So I might have to wear it with a belt. Not really sure how I'm going to style it, but it's finished. I'm done. I feel really accomplished for having finished my first Lutterloh pattern. I started the process being extremely daunted, and in actual fact it really wasn't that hard. All up, I probably spent maybe 6 hours today and maybe 2-3 hours on the weekend, all up. My phone ran out of space, so I had to delete some stuff. So I spent a few hours creating this dress. I'm fairly happy with it. Whether I can work out how to style it so I'm comfortable wearing it, but I'm really proud of myself for giving Lutterloh patterns a go. I do think that if this was a top, I would feel perfectly fine in it. I think it's just because it's so shapeless, so maybe a belt, earrings, high heels, maybe I'll feel differently about it, but that's how I'm feeling at the moment. Thanks for spending the day with me. I hope you enjoyed watching me sew this dress. I hope to see you next time. Thanks, bye. I'm looking at the wrong place again. Down in the comments, not the comments, join it at the neck hole inside. The neck hole. Was there anything else I wanted to say?